Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Jamie Grenier, debut author of a crime sci-fi mystery. So today we are going to get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty of the editing aspect of writing books because it's always fun. And today we're going to be talking about developmental editing. So what is developmental editing? Well, it's looking at the bigger picture of the plot of your entire story. So what this means is is there plot holes in your story that you somehow missed? Is there a random plot device that you have to add to the story to make it make sense? You are going to be looking at the subplots, the plots, and the character arcs of the entire story itself. And sometimes it can even go through checking the pacing itself to make sure that the inciting incident is where it needs to be in your book. What if you gotta fix the pacing in the first act? How can you use this developmental editing technique? As you guys already know, I did a vlog last week about what I'm going to be doing in the last week and a half or so, and which is also why I did not upload a video this Tuesday, is because I've been going through my book and I've used this technique, and hopefully this technique will also help you guys as well. So how can we use this technique? So, sorry, I am looking down because this is where my notes are. I'll just adjust it accordingly. So I would say go through your manuscript first without editing anything at all. If there's a grammar mistake, a stray grammar mistake that you spot, it doesn't hurt to fix it, but the goal of this developmental editing is to look at the big picture. So just go through your manuscript and just make sure that it does make sense. For example, say your character found keys to a car, and then even though that another character knows this, they break into the car anyway. Even though that the character is standing there with the keys, which by the way makes no sense, right? So that's one of the things that you can, more minor plot hole things that you can quickly fix. It'll only take a couple keystrokes and voila, it's all fixed. Little stuff like that. And then looking at the bigger picture of the story itself, say for example, in one part of the story, something somehow makes sense, but later on in the story, that same something just doesn't line up as well as you could. So that's why the developmental stages of the book from your eyes is very important, because if you do happen to submit it to a traditional publishing company, or if you do choose to self-publish it without having anybody have a quick look at it, it's going to cause a lot of problems in your reviews, because as we all know, Amazon reviews and book reviews all matter to help with the algorithm of the books in the search engine that your books are on, such as ebooks, Kindle publishing, all that good stuff, Google Play, all that good stuff, and even in the distribution aspect too. And it's gonna suck because a lot of the time once it's published, the author doesn't even realize it half the time until at least a good 2 years later, and it's going to look bad. So it's stuff like that you are going to have to go through in your own time to make sure it makes sense, because if you're not looking for those plot holes, then your readers are definitely going to notice, and your work will probably end up get roasted on Tumblr, hashtag not sponsored. So basically, you're going to want to look through your manuscript for any plot holes or anything affecting the story itself, and it happens to not make sense. Say for example, there's a random redemption arc in your story, and you didn't even realize that you've done that when that character is supposed to be the anti-hero, and all of a sudden he's just like kind of the good guy with no developmental character arc standing beside him, and it just feels like it comes out of nowhere. That in itself can be considered either a plot hole or a hole in the character art itself. And you can either add more to that story itself, or you could take out the character art redemption by itself. But like, it's just an example. Not all stories are the same, as I keep saying. And then like after that, after you go through your book, probably like leaving comments and such like that, some people would like to print it out and like leave little notes on their papers and stuff like that. Like whatever way that like you do your editing process, that's how you're gonna do it. Like you're gonna go through your manuscript again, and you are going to go through the manuscript, editing and fixing whatever plot holes came through. And it sucks a lot, but you want to make a good book, right? So alas, it is something that we are eventually gonna have to do. So yeah, not much we can do about it. We gotta make sure that the book looks good, otherwise we're just gonna look bad. It's just facts. Like, I don't make the rules. It's just simple fact. And then after you do happen to edit the book, happen to fix all those plot holes, or as many as you've seen, do what you feel is best, or you can leave the book for up to 2 weeks or so. You are going to want to go back to your book and make sure that everything does make sense. And as I said too, like this is probably in like at least the 3rd or 4th draft. And in the 3rd or 4th draft, it's typically a lot of the time the developmental editing stages before you actually go back and like edit a heck of a lot. Like I know that like I did a heck of a lot of the editing in my 2nd draft, Slump and everything. Those 3 months are still really cringy and awful and such, but like developmental editing helps a heck of a lot in upping the quality of your plot itself. So yeah, like just leave the book itself for 2 weeks, just because like what if you do happen to have a random typo in there and you gotta go back and fix it. And then after you're done the 2 weeks, you go back, you go through it, make sure you got all the plot holes and such. And like if you happen to not fix all of them, I say go through the manuscript again and do and rinse and repeat until you are 110% sure that you've got all of the plot holes. And like maybe like the occasional grammar mistake and da 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 da. But right now in the developmental editing stages, it is the plot holes and the plot itself, making sure that the plot does make sense, is really gonna matter to your readers. And then until all your plot holes, I know like it's hard and like you want to edit your book to make sure it does look really pristine. Don't do what I did. Like I mean, in the 2nd draft Slump, I did cut out a heck of a lot from my book and everything, which I am very glad I did, because it does look a heck of a lot cleaner, and there was a heck of a lot less than what I thought I had to do. So I did get the bulk of it done. It's just like I said, I went through the book itself to make sure that I got all of the plot holes. I am now leaving it for up to a week or 2 to make sure that it is good. And then I do gotta read it again for what feels like the millionth time. But that's just the life of a writer. That's the life of an author. And a lot of the time I do repeat to myself, like, what in the haystacks did I even get myself into? But this is the reality of a writer. No, your draft is not ready to query. Your draft is not ready to self-publish. And if you're one of those writers and authors, good luck with those 1-star reviews is all I gotta say. It's just fact. If you think your draft is ready to go publish, there's going to be so many grammar mistakes and everything like that. So just like bite the bullet and do the developmental editing, if I can speak, that you know your book might need. You're just in denial at this point. So that, just a side note, like if you feel like your book isn't quite ready, guaranteed it probably isn't quite there yet. So just go through the book, look for the plot holes, or like anything in your book that just simply doesn't make sense and everything. Like if there's like a random plot twist when there's some, and then like something in the beginning doesn't quite make sense, but at the same time it does. I think something like that could possibly stay, but like I said, like I'm not the 110% expert. I'm just like relaying a lot of what I've learned onto you. So yeah, hopefully that this video did end up helping the lot of you, and I would say like that is about it and everything for the time being. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell for more, to get notified of more of my content, and give this video a like if you guys need some more of this content. More book reviews is coming, more editing tips and tricks are going to be coming your way. So thank you guys very much for the support, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys, stay awesome, stay safe, sanitize those hands before you cross the street.